Page 56, Lone Star Waltz. At the top of the page, they're talking about going up and down the keyboard in an interval of a sixth, parallel sixth we call them. Parallel because there's two notes and they're moving in the same direction and the distance is the same. So look at the first one in the example. Well, I don't like looking at the examples. Let's go to the music and see where it is in the music. On top of page 57 in the right hand, you see the G and the E, and then the next note you're just going down the keyboard. These are an interval of a sixth, and you just keep moving around as a sixth. You're using the same fingers, 1 and 5 every time. And then you get down to the third line, then the left hand gets to play 2. So again, 5 and 1 fingers, and we're just going down. But well, it's a handy thing to know. You're not going to use it that often, but it comes in handy. It's kind of fun. And there's a little technique involved. I'm using the wrist here to do this. I'm down, weight of pretty much of the hand to get them down. So it's here. I'm holding the arm pretty still. I'm really doing it with the weight of the hand, just and hinging at the wrist here. And if it'll help you, when the notes stay the same distance like this parallel stuff, the technique that I use, and you'll work out something that for you eventually, is I just aim one finger. Either finger, doesn't matter. Say it's the thumb, and I can just do the thumb. And if I keep my hand in that position, the little finger should go along for the ride. It should do it. I mean, really, for me, it works wonderful. Sometimes I'll think about whichever note is the melody, if one of them is. In this case, it would be the little finger, the top note, so I'll focus on the little finger. And let the thumb go along for the ride. So it's the same for the left hand. Third line down here, you pick a finger, whichever one. I'm going to use the thumb and concentrate on that. Try and hinge at the wrist here. Don't be going up and down the whole thing. Let the little finger just go along. If you'd rather use the little finger, that's fine. I don't know which is the melody. Maybe they're both melody. Because if the E in the right hand is melody, then the E in the left hand and third line would also be melody. And that's the bottom. I don't know that you need to bring out the melody here, just play the notes. But that's how I do this, and you can do this as long as you keep your hand in that position. See, the problem we have when we do this is we'll get tense. We're trying to hold the hand in that position so much we get tense. But if you can keep hinging at the wrist, you will not get tense. You can't be tense and flex the wrist at the same time. The physical makeup of the body, that doesn't work. So as long as you're doing this, you should be okay. Type thing. If you tense up and start doing it from the arm, you got a problem. Don't do that. Now also at the top of page 57, they're showing you another symbol called a staccato, or a staccato mark, or a staccato dot, or whatever you want to call it. It is a dot above or below the note. It doesn't matter if it's above or below, that's not important. If the fact is it's there. So if you look at the second measure on page 57 at the top in the left hand, you have the dot above the chord. Now if the dot happens to be above the G, it doesn't matter, it's a chord. You're going to play them at the same time. And in a chord they just use one dot, and it applies to all the notes in the chord. So both of these are staccato. That means they're short. How short? I don't know. I teach it pretty short, and it's just a wrist thing here. It's like, my teacher used to call them hot stove notes, because if you touch a hot stove you get off it real quick. That's short. technically speaking. A staccato is anything that's not connected. So if I played them just disconnected, that's still staccato. But I'm teaching right now, make them short. Just, you're on it and you go down and bounce off. Just down and bounce off. You have to be able to do it in both hands. Look at the third line down. In the right hand here, or it's here. Which hands? Third and fourth fingers. That's what they want. And it's here. It's bounce off. Hinge at the wrist and bounce off. Keep them short for now. And then the last measure of that line, it's 2/4. It doesn't matter which fingers are involved. It's still hinge at the wrist and bounce off the keys. We'll lengthen them later. All right, that's an interpretive thing. As how long is it? That's how you interpret the thing. But just play it short for now. So for this piece, it is a waltz in the 3/4 time. We want to feel that natural accent. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 type thing. Not too bad on page 56, but when you get to 57, again, we want to hear the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Musical, but that's the point. That's the idea. Don't go that fast. Over on page 56, we got eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Apparently you've had phrases before because they're phrasing each one. So you want to lift up a little bit so there's a little silence between each phrase. In this case, between each measure of the first couple measures or so. So it's here. Lift up. Lift up. Now connected. I don't like short phrases, but that's how they've got it, and that's okay. We'll do that. You don't have any phrases in 57 because of what's going on here. You're not connecting anything really to speak of. So it's all disconnected there. In a sense, it's all staccato. In the left hand on page 56, we have it's like a C major chord without the middle note. And the next one would be like a G major chord, except we're not using the F. So you're doing that. And then in the last measure, you have that C major chord, but it's a broken chord. That is one note at a time. A broken chord is any chord that's not a block chord. A block chord is when the notes are at the same time, and a broken chord is anything else. And one of the patterns for a broken chord is this pattern. Well, this is a C major chord, but the point is it's a broken chord. And the second line, last measure, is another broken chord. It's a different pattern. At the end of page 57, there's a DC al fine at the bottom. You see that? DC means go back to the beginning. Al fine means go to fine. The fine is at the bottom of page 56. You see the word fine with the thin and thick bar lines? They're showing a little bit of pedaling at the end of the lines on page 56. Here on the last measure, and both of them, I don't know why they're showing pedaling other than to give you an excuse to use the pedal. If you want to use pedaling, you go right ahead. I don't agree with it, so I'm going to leave it out. You don't need to pedal this piece at all. If that's all you're going to pedal, why bother? That's what I'm saying. But if you want to do that, you go right ahead. At the beginning here, the dynamic, it says P, that's the melody here. So the left hand has to be really soft. When you get to 57, now it's loud, and they're telling you, and the right hand is loud, or the hand that gets this passage, and the other hand is sort of loud. That's fine. It's just not as loud as the other hand. Now when you get down to the third line, this is sort of loud. It's not loud like it was at the top, it's just sort of loud. And then now the right hand is soft. Okay, I won't get into it. There are ranges and you can adjust it a little bit, but that's fine. That works. We'll do that. At the bottom of page 56, it says second time retardando. That means after you do the DC, you're going to slow that down a little bit because you're about to end there. So the second line on page 56, there we would be going here. 2, 1, and 2, 3, 1, and slow down. Like so, that's all that's for. Now, there's also a note at the beginning of this on page 56, right under the moderate waltz tempo, second time both hands 8 VA, which means after you DC, get to the bottom of 57 and you go back, now you're going to pretend middle C just goes up an octave, and both hands are going to be up here now. So you to end it off the final time. Well, you have to be able to move the hands, because you're going to end it at the bottom of page 57 like here. Now you got to come up here. There's no rest or anything, you just got to move it. How do you move it? Well, we figure these things out. We plan it. We practice it if we have to. What happens is the right hand has staccatos, and it can move immediately because it doesn't have to hold down for the full count. 2, 3, and I can be up here by the time the count ends. That way, when it's time to move, all I got to do is move the left hand up. So I'm moving one hand at a time. It's easier than trying to move both hands at the same time. I don't know. So to last couple measures of 57 going on, or going back to 56, it's here. You just have to know where you're going, which fingers are involved, and you practice that. You practice that hand move to get that, because the beat has to go on. You can't hesitate. You can't slow it down or nothing. You just got to be there. So yeah, whatever it takes to get the beat going. Even if it means leaving out a note. We don't want to leave out a note, but the beat is more important. So if I, on that last measure of 57, if I have to leave out the last quarter note in the right hand to get me up there, that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to do that if I can help it, because I want to play all the notes written if possible. It would actually be better, in my opinion, to just leave out the 8 VA second time rather than leave out a note. If I was going to have to leave out a note in order to do that, then I simply wouldn't move. I'd just stay there. There, because I can move from here to here easily. I don't have any time. I don't need a lot of time there. And the right hand is where it needs to be anyway. So that's, in my opinion, the better of the two evil. It's the lesser. Just don't 8 VA if you can't make that move in time. Let's try this out slowly together just to check the notes and the rhythms. Now, moderate waltz tempo, that's up to you on what you think that is. It's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just know that whatever it is, you got to keep that tempo throughout. So 56 might be okay, but when you get to 57, can you keep that same tempo? It's got to be the same speed. Don't change the speed just because the music got hard. Go to the most difficult part of the music, the piece, whatever it is, figure out what that speed is going to be, and that's your speed for the whole piece. So I'm going to give us 3 counts and let's try this out. Now in the right hand we're not exactly in C position, we're here, and left hand here. 1, ready and go, and.